Existential Shaman here. Haven't made a video in a long time, and a lot has changed. This video is not so much about astrology, not so much about spirituality. This is about social intelligence and social skills. By social skills, I mean knowing how to navigate around a manipulative culture. Manipulative people. I'm not saying that all people who follow culture are manipulative. I'm saying they're amongst them. And, I've had some experiences and I've learned a lot from people I've been in contact with. Just some strange things have happened. This could be, quasi-Plutonian, because this is about social currents. I'm going through my Pluto trine ascendant transit. That's astrology jargon. You don't have to understand that to know where I'm coming from. I finished Pluto conjunct Sun, and I've learned a lot about people, society, and what you're focused on. A lot of millennials, but a lot of people in culture have social media, and social media has bred an undercurrent, a subculture of narcissistic supply. And the thing is, a lot of people, it's pretty obvious when someone is overtly narcissistic. Those people everyone points them out. Everyone will call that person out. So there's a new form of narcissism that is not so known as covert narcissism. And I just got out of a relationship with a covert narcissist, and I've learned so much. I use my astrological knowledge, I use my psychological knowledge to spot it and bring it out. And I just want to talk about what has happened between that and another friend that I went to. It was the pattern of a victim or an empath or a sensitive person is to go from one abusive relationship to the other. This is for those people who are genuinely empathic people who have a good nature and who are sucked in by facades of kindness, generosity at first, to be lured into an covert, I have you now, and it's really evil. It's really bad. And the key to it is the navigating through the emotions that you have to feel, you have to understand, you have to interpretate clearly without distraction. Number one, anger will distract you. A covert narcissist will use your own anger against you. I just want to help here. I just want people to know what's going on. My girlfriend, was a covert narcissist. And the thing was these people don't have real confidence. They don't have it. They, instead, and they can be good looking, they can have plenty of money, they can be not so good looking and not have so much money. And all of these details about these people are irrelevant. It's how they communicate with you. It's how they share feelings about yourself with you and feelings about themselves with you. How these two parts of the seesaw, how one might outweigh the other. Now, a really good covert narcissist will charm you and love you and bring you in and find out all of your fears just so that they can be there to comfort you. But really, they're taking that and they're taking it as ammunition to use it against you. This can be your whole family. This can be I have seen it. It can be an entire family unit. My family did it. I left them. And the fear that keeps an empath stuck in that cycle is what will happen without this security that's keeping me going. But really, when you aren't being distracted, when your emotions aren't being manipulated, your mental resources increase, and you can navigate through life so much better. And that's the secret. Once you face the fear, that's what you learn on the other side. And it's a very empowering feeling. It was very empowering. My girlfriend, she did hurt me. She led me on for a long time. But for me to spot it and bring it out, I pulled it out of her. I got her to say, in an angry tone, "I want to punch you in the throat." And I did it calmly, neutrally, with knowing how covert narcissism works, what the patterns are. And this girl charmed me for a good 3 months. And then we moved in together. Now, there were hints at this. There were bits, parts of it, that kind of bred a covert, subliminal coercion, a submission, a "I trust you," a "I will let you all the way into me." And that's part of culture. It's kind of a boundary broken culture that we live in. But the covert narcissist will make you afraid when you don't give them attention. And a lot of them can get really nasty. A lot of them can get really ugly and really fucking bad. And they will hurt you. And you have to first know how they're hurting you, and then what the best practical course of action is to cut off communication. You have to understand that this is not a person who cares about you. They seem to, but if you stay with them for long enough and you understand how coverts operate, which there are lots of YouTube videos out there, just look it up. But you can get yourself out, because at least you know you're being honest with yourself, fully honest. So honest that you can spot this person who knows everything about you and can completely destroy you, but you still know that you can get out, you can end the communication, and you can get away from them. That's very satisfying to me. And it makes me feel a lot better about who I am. The key is, if you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist, you're going to want to replace their presence in your life with someone else. And I think the victim will go from one to the other. The key is to become autonomous. The key is to get your own place. And remember to maintain healthy boundaries. Probably you should do a lot of boundaries, unless you've known people for years and you understand their behavior and how they're treating you and if it's okay or not, which is possible. So what happened with the girl was, I was living with her at her mom's, and her sister lived there as well. And the thing that covert narcissists do is they cause you to be angry, but then they point your anger elsewhere at everything except them, so that you can't tell that they're the one who is actually making you frustrated or angry. These people can be very sulky, but the sulkiness itself is not a bad thing. When they use the sulkiness they use it as a way for you to make them feel better, and they want to take all of your attention. And if I use spiritual meditative practice to keep my attention focused in the now, I use the drishti. If you do yoga, you'll know that it is the gaze that looks out. It doesn't look at all the little details, it just sees outward. And it focuses on one point, and that way your brain is not doing as much, and you can use it to do other things. Mental processing. In this world, this distracted world, the eyes go all day long. There's so many thoughts occurring, so many thoughts distracting you from the truth. And the truth about the society, there's a movie that came out in 1988 called They Live, and it's about a man who it's kind of a cheesy-ass B-movie story, but it makes a very good point. A man who, the main character, the hero, is a working blue-collar man who goes into the city to find work, and then he finds these magical sunglasses that cause him to see the world differently. Billboard signs become, like a beach commercial becomes get married and reproduce. With the glasses on, it sees a different image. It's a very cheesy kind of metaphor, but it's brilliant at the same time. And basically, he looks at money and it says, "This is your God." And other signs, billboard signs, advertising signs is what it is. They say, "Obey, obey, obey." And that's actually where that brand, Obey, got its idea from. So the point is to take your attention away from yourself, away from your body. And that's something a covert narcissist will do. And the more in touch with your body you are, the more you can breathe deeply and be present, the more you'll notice them taking your attention away from you. And that's how you spot a covert narcissist. You can do it very quickly if you understand their behavior and you understand your own emotions and you do not repress them. You may have to act in front of the covert narcissist to get away. You may have to pretend you're feeling one thing when you're feeling another. The point is that you can keep the upper hand when you know how they work. When you are not giving them attention, they feed off of your attention. They feed off of your frustration. And when you understand your own frustration through meditation, I do anger work, I do scream therapy, I work out a lot. I've educated myself with astrology, with spirituality, with psychology over the years effectively to the point where I can tell when someone's frustrating me at this point, and I know their ways of trying to frustrate me. Like, my girlfriend would just talk about disturbing things, and she would talk and not give me a chance to speak. She also, so like I said, we were living at her mom's with her sister, and she's all the time she was like, "I'm so angry at my sister, I'm so angry at my sister," and then that would make me angry at my sister, and everything that allowed her to do things to me while I was focused on her sister instead of her behavior, instead of what she was saying and what she was doing. She also lured me pretty well. She was very smart. I'm a very perceptive person, but covert narcissists are highly clever and highly intelligent. However, I eventually figured it out, but basically, they will talk to you, because they'll divert the words of the conversation to someone or something else, but that gives them the ability to talk to you in a frustrated tone, to glare at you when you haven't done anything wrong. And that's the thing about the covert narcissist. You will give them all of your energy, and they will give you barely any. You can see how this will build frustration without you knowing it, and that's their main weapon, is making you frustrated at them without you consciously realizing it. So, the thing is, what really pointed that out was, I was with this girl, and, the whole time, and I told her, we need to just get our own place away from your family because they're making you so upset, right? They're making you so angry, which is making you vent at me. She said it was frustration, it was just venting. But really, women are able to hide these things better than men, I think. But, because I understand, men listen to women vent. That's a normal social thing. But a covert narcissist can hide an agenda behind that, an entire agenda, where they're basically one big demon going, "Ha ha, bitch, I fucking got you." That's like the mask behind it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, the kind, loving veneer who seems to be a rescuer, who seems philanthropic, who seems charitable, and who is also constantly victimized by this and that in life to the point where they can't do anything. And they can't do anything because they don't have narcissistic supply. But by you saying, "Oh, let me help you back because you're being so good to me," eventually the seesaw of the attention on you versus the attention on them tilts so that they're taking all the attention and you're left with nothing. And they'll do less kind things to you but use your emotions against you so that you end up feeling like a shitty person when you're really just a kind person the entire time. But because you feel like a shitty person, they project their guilt. That's what they do. They project they're incapable of guilt, and they project their shame onto you. That's what they do. And they will yell. This girl would say things like, "Why are you talking to me so aggressively?" You understand? Like, she came at me with an aggressive tone while saying, "Why are you talking to me so aggressively?" Everything they're doing wrong becomes your fault. And you need to get away from these people because they're dangerous. And there are different forms of it. There are different forms. My friend that I just left was doing it differently, and I realized I was a victim going from one to the other. But this is all part of me letting go of my entire family. And letting go of those people gave me so much more clarity in my mind, and I am able to spot these people very quickly. I don't think all people are like this. I think there are there are other nice people out there like me. And I have to find them. But the point is that for me to get out of it, I know that emotionally I first need to get my own place and my own boundaries. And that way I can let people in enough for me to be able to spot this behavior even quicker and be able to maintain my autonomy at the same time. I think that's the key to finding the right people. If you've been going from one bad one to the other and you're starting to figure out the pattern and you're going, oh fuck, you think you need to stay in denial or something. You don't need to. So then this girl, what happened was basically, I said, since your family's making you so upset, let's get our own place. We got our own place, and then a different side of her came out. We've had the worst argument, the first argument we've ever really had. And it's funny because I started getting angry at first because it blindsided me. I raised my tone. I just said, why are you like projecting your anger onto me? Why are you making me look like the asshole? Is what I was yelling at her. And she went into it. She was acting like a 3-year-old, and it fit. Like, really, the entire thing was immature. And then I calmed down. I instantly thought, what if she's the covert narcissist? And I calmed down. I was indifferent to her anger, to her frustrations. I was neutral in the situation. And that's when she said, I want to punch you in the throat. Like, she had never said anything like that. She had never physically harmed my person. And I got it out of her by remaining calm, by not reacting suddenly. Because there's a difference. I don't want to repress my emotions. If I have a girlfriend, I want to talk about what she's genuinely angry about. And I want to share how I feel. And there's nothing wrong with that between a couple. But when you calm down your tone and they keep trying to provoke you, you can get the wolf to drop the sheep's clothing. So you can find out, and hopefully you can get yourself out of there very quickly. This is for men and women, because this goes both ways, and the dynamic can happen in many, many ways. My best friend, something weird happened today. It finally occurred to me, because it was so fresh on my mind, because I had just left my girlfriend. He was saying things that... It was actually the timing of the conversation. Like, everything was about what he wanted to do, and when I would say something, he would say, I don't know, and then, like, kind of just turn the vibe into, like, oh, this is so hard, like, I don't want to do what you want to do. And eventually I realized that he was stealing my attention, so we walked a few miles, and I just kind of got quiet and took my attention in my body and just kind of meditated while walking, and he went straight to looking at his phone, and he walked looking at his phone for 3 miles. And this ties back into what I said at the beginning about social media being a narcissistic supply for covert narcissists. I think this is happening a lot with millennials, but I know there's enough out there to see this and understand this and liberate yourself from the hypnosis that we are under in this world. And it's okay. If you can see through it, you can find a way past it. And that's what makes this world okay. Once you still your mind and learn to see this society sharply, you're really okay. To let go of the people who are hurting you, and you'd be surprised what you can do on your own. How okay you can be on your own, and how you can find people who will love you equally. The key is to break it leave all the other narcissists going from one to the other. If you have control of yourself and your anger, you can spot it and you can get out of there. And you can find a better situation for yourself. Because it's about self-love. The inner critic the inner critic You should learn about psychology if you don't know what I'm talking about. But the inner critic of these people is beating the crap out of them, and you can't let it beat the crap out of you. You have to approve of yourself. You have to say you're fine just the way you are. This isn't perfect, and that's okay. That's okay if it's not perfect. You'll be fine. You can take care of yourself. That's it. That is literally it. You'd be surprised at the steps you will automatically take after that, once you get to that point of understanding with yourself and love with yourself. Alright, Existential Shaman signing out. Hope you love this video.